Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to express our minds. And Father, we ask that you lead every house of this prayer. Father, that decisions we make for the better of the city and of the citizens of themselves. Father, we ask you just protect everyone that's exercising their right to tonight. And Father, the outcome will be as it may, but we always remain. Father, we ask you just lead and guide this council as they make decisions. We ask this blessing and holy name.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we will go to the public forum, which allows citizens to speak and express their concerns either for or against the issue at hand. The item is there. And so we will go to that. And so the public forum, citizens may speak on an agenda item during the public forum section of the meeting or when the item is called for discussion by the mayor. Speakers shall be given 3 minutes per speaker. Citizens wishing to address the council on non-agenda items may do so with a 3-minute per speaker time limit. Consistent with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the council members cannot discuss non-agenda items. All speakers will maintain proper decorum when presenting and while in council chambers. Threats, profane insults, and vulgar or profane language are out of order and may result in forfeiture of the remaining time and possible removal from the meeting. Citizens wishing to comment must sign up, at which you have done already. I have a list of individuals who have asked to speak, and we would ask that you come to the front, give us your name and your address, and use the microphone to my right over there, please. The first name that's on the list is Carl
Wild.
Okay, come forward, thanks. That's right.
Good evening, everybody. Some of y'all know me, some of y'all don't. I am, my family owns Small Town Charm. I live on 903 10th Street here in Honey Grove. I've lived here in Honey Grove since, I believe, 2005. I'm a military veteran, and I am the guy who puts the spiders in the building over there. So if you ever go by there and see that, I wonder who does it, that's me. I only have 3 minutes, so I'm going to try to get right into it. I understand why this is important, why it's important to raise these rates, and that the city needs this, and it really does. Because we're at a point now where our pipes are so deteriorating that sewage water is going into the streets, it's going into yards, and if some, governmental agencies were aware of this, we would start to get fined. And we cannot afford those fines. Those fines would bankrupt our city, and we would end up, for lack of a better way to put it, like Ladonia. Nobody wants that. That being said, there's definitely some discrepancies that, I've noticed, and I've gone through all 172 comments on Facebook of people complaining about how their rates went from anywhere to $20 to $1,000, and they don't have an actual reason why this happened. Why they can't explain why their rate went up so much. It happened at our house. We only went up $20. At our store location, our average water usage is between 900 gallons and about 1,300 gallons. Right here it says that we use 13,000 gallons. I can assure you we did not use 13,000 gallons. Not only were we closed for 2 weeks because my wife sustained a hand injury. For those of you who don't know, she's a beautician and is a beauty shop. She can't work without her hand. I personally checked for water leaks. We do not have any water leaks. I believe that we are not the only people in this town that are having this issue. I know of one individual in this town, I'm not going to name any names, I talked to a lot of people today. Their bill went up to $1,000 when their bill is usually about $200. I feel like these rates, although they're fair to me, but there are people who they are not fair to. As of 2021, 14% of Honey Grove's population lived below the poverty line. That's 2021. A lot of things have changed since then. Inflation is terrible, and I believe those numbers are probably much higher at this point. Some people cannot afford this, and we need to find a way to help them pay for this. And it shouldn't be on the citizens of Honey Grove to come forward and pay this. It should be on our government. This is our government's job to take care of its people. This is what they're elected for. I don't blame what happened to the sewers on any of these people here. This has been a problem for years. The last time I spoke at a council meeting was 5 years ago about Veterans Park. Before I spoke, there was actually a group here talking about how most cities start to fix their water issues, their sewage issues, when it gets to 60% deterioration. At that point in time, we were at 90% deterioration. This problem has been pushed under the rug for years, and it's strictly because people who we have elected have not had the backbone to step up and say, we need to do this, and that's why we're paying the price for it now. So I don't really believe there's a good alternative to raising the rates, but there's clearly something else is going wrong here. When people are getting their meters not read and getting a bill for 13,000 gallons of water, and they usually use between 9 to 12 to 1,300, and other people are having the same exact problems. I walked around the square today and talked to all the shop owners. Many of them were unaware that their bill had increased so much. Some of them sat there while I was talking to them and looked it up online because they have auto bill, and their bill had doubled, but their water usage had not doubled. Somebody is not tracking these numbers properly. Whatever program has been set up in place to determine how much your bill is, it is not right. I don't want to blame anybody because I don't know whose job that is, but it's very clear that it's not working. It can be written off to some people may have some bad water lines that they didn't know because water rates used to be so low, and now they know they have a water leak because their bill's so high. But I don't think that's the problem. With the amount of people who are posting on the Honey Grove page that their bills have gotten so ridiculously high, I think that
Sir, you're running out of time.
I think that there's something going on with these rates. I don't think these are the actual rates that we are being charged. I also like to point out before I leave, I think that it's not fair to charge businesses, these small run businesses in our town, extra money for the same water usage. It doesn't make any sense. We want businesses here in town. Why would you charge them extra for water? Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saba, Jeff Saba.
Hi everyone, my name's Jeff. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak and for welcoming me to your town. I've only been here like 18 months. It's an awesome place. We get up here every chance we can get. We're really
You may need to pull the mic closer to you.
We're really hoping to be a part of this town for a really long time. We are business owners in this town, and we are residents in this town. So, cost of living is extremely important to us as well. But the town's success is also very important to us. In fact, everything that we have saved our whole lives is riding on the success of this town. So, in my experience in business, if there's an opportunity to improve your situation, your business, the people around you, I've always understood that you should take that opportunity. If you have an opportunity to improve, the sewer systems, and there's a chance that not doing so good bankrupt the town, like I've heard, then you should really, really look at swallowing the pill, doing the hard thing, and taking the money, the resources that are offered to you in order to improve your town, especially if it's resources that are mostly not have to pay back, and then if you got really, really special rates that you can pay back over a long time, I'd say it's an opportunity you don't want to pass up, especially especially if it causes the type of damage that could keep the town from growing, keep people from coming here. I think that the long-term detriment to our families and our children, our grandchildren will outweigh the hardships that it creates now. And I completely understand the hardships. I hope that we can go forward with what we've already committed to, and then find a way to help the people that need it. If there's an issue with the way that the billing system is set up, we can get to the bottom of that really quick. It's real simple to get to the meters, and you can go out and check your own meter and watch the usage and see if there's actual usage that's happening, or if there's a discrepancy. If there's a discrepancy, then that's what we should be focusing on, not rolling back the agreement that was already in place and potentially causing the town to be in serious detriment. So I hope that we don't make a decision based on fear of not being able to take this step forward, and that we continue to do the things that we need to.
You're running out of time, sir.
Very good. That's it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Mr. Brian Owen.
My name's Brian Owen. I wish this was in attendance at every city council meeting. That would be awesome. I live at 800 Pecan. I'm a business owner here in town. And I would like to commend the city council for making a very, very, very hard decision. I know it wasn't made lightly. I know it doesn't come with open arms. Nobody wants to pay more money for everything. My homeowner's insurance is just about double this year. I don't see people outside lined up at their insurance agencies and the big conglomerates that run those complaining about that. You accept it, it's an increase. We don't have a choice not to fix this sewer lines. We do not have a choice. It is red lights, flashing, stop, fix now, immediately. We cannot roll back. And if we go back on an agreement, it could potentially work out. You may win. It's a crapshoot. If it does, you look like heroes. If it doesn't, we all look like zeros. And for 15 to 20 years, it will affect our rating with other agencies that give us the grants and resources. Y'all know all this. The public doesn't, and it's important that everybody do know that we're at a point that it sucks, but we're here today. It doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter who did what when. Today we're here. We have a problem and we have a solution. And y'all made the solution. I want to commend you for making that solution. It was very hard to do, but please stand by it. Stand by it, and we'll work out the rest. If the people got problems with the meters, get that fixed. We can do that. If it's a billing system error, we can do that. Work with people to explain why their bill has gone up, but let's not cut our nose off to spite our face, please. Thank y'all for everything you do and the hard work you do for the citizens of Honey Grove.
Thank you. Brandon Caffey.
Take it, pass it down if you don't have it.
Oh, take one and pass it?
Yes, please.
I was listening, sorry.
My name is Brandon Caffey. I've lived here since 2009. I live at 1002 Chestnut Street. I've raised my children here. My parents live here. This has been home to me my entire life. I want to commend the city as well on making a difficult decision. Most of you, or at least some of you, probably know that I am not one that's afraid to stand up to the city council when I think something's been done in the wrong way. I've done that before. But these guys sit here and make decisions that people don't like every day. It's your right to be here and voice your opinion. I don't think anyone up here is upset about that. What I did today is I went through and I looked at cities and communities in our area and their rates. Our rates are not out of line with cities in this area. They're not. You can look at any city on their website and see what their water rates are and see what their sewer rates are. Our water rate is actually lower than the majority of the cities that I looked at. Our sewer rate is higher, but when you balance those out, we're in line with most cities around, with the exception of Trenton. If you look at the cost of Trenton, their base rate for water, I have it listed here, is $59.95 for 1,000 gallons. Our base rate is $26.50 for 2,000 gallons. To compare, our sewer is $57.90 in Trenton as a base rate. Our base rate is now $45. Every bit of water that you use that goes above those amounts, your rate is going to increase. Ours is in line with other cities. I have the information here if anyone wants to look at it. I think that Sarah made some copies. You can look at that. I made a very elementary bar graph today. That's not my forte. Please support your city council on this. It's difficult. I think they're all going to work with anybody who's struggling. I know that people that I know in this council have always gone to bat for the city folks that need help, and that's not going to change with any of these people. So I hope that you'll stand behind them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to thank Mr. Caffey for the comparative study of the different cities and their ordinances. He put this together for us, and I appreciate that. The other one that you have in your hand with the pie graph is one that Sarah put together, and the information that you have there is actually based on this month's rates and the number of folks and the percentage of folks who pay the different rates. So Sarah did a great job, and I want to thank her for that. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Fisher.
You want to let all the citizens talk first, or you want me to give an overview?
I think we're down to, did I skip someone? Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Adam Jockelson.
Hi, everybody. My name is Adam Jockelson. I am a civil engineer who lives in Dallas. I am here tonight because I have been charmed by this town. I work for a small firm that helps people get permits to build stuff. We do a lot of work in Fannin and Lamar counties. We've got projects in Paris, Bonham, Sherman, Pottsboro, even right here in Honey Grove. And I can tell you that the very first time I came to this town, I knew big things were going to happen. The location is perfect. The proximity between Paris and Bonham, even close to Sherman, the two new lakes coming in north and south of here. It's clear that there's going to be development around here, like it or not. Okay. I'm so sure of that I've rented an office down there on 6th Street, the old beauty shop. That's my new office that I'm going to be spending time here in Honey Grove. I've already been walking around, getting to know some people at the bank, some people in this room I've met a few times already. And everybody's been super nice, and I love it here. But I'm going to tell you right now, in my experience, the very first question a potential developer is going to ask is, how are the utilities? And if the utilities are not up to scratch, that's going to be a strike against. The major utilities we always talk about: electricity, phone and internet, water, sewer. And if any of you have been around the world in different places, the thing that separates us as a country and as a healthy place from a lot of other third world countries: clean water and proper sanitation. So I urge you, as residents of this town and people that I know will benefit from having good utilities here, especially that water and that sewer, to do whatever it takes to make sure. And I've only been here a very short time, several months, and already in that short time, I've been hearing about the challenges that the city is facing, sewer especially. And that concerns me as something that I know that, in my experience, can really set back the city. So again, I'm here because I really like this town in the short time I've been here, and I just wanted, when I heard this meeting was going on tonight, I felt like I wanted to come up here and tell you guys my experience with that, and as an engineer, it's something that really needs to be taken care of. So I thank you for giving me some time to talk, and I hope to, those of you that I have not met in town yet, to meet you soon. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, do I have somebody else? Oh, Mr. Fisher, yeah. Mr. Fisher is our engineer, lead engineer with KSA. We've worked with KSA for a long time, a number of years here in the city. Over the years, we've worked with them with our water lines that were installed some years ago. That really took place before I was ever in town, and happened to be involved when the lines were being put in. And then just prior to that, Harold Robertson was mayor, and when the water tower was put in, we had a lot of work there, and we've had lift stations that have been installed. And so we've been looking forward to a time when, in effect, we could address the sewer lines that we have here in town. And this has been coming for a long time. It's just, it takes time for the funding to be perhaps in place. And in our case, it's purely accidental that Honey Grove ended up with a grant award of $10 million. We did not expect to get that. And suddenly it became available because some other city turned it down. So, Mr. Fisher.
My name's Bob Fisher. I'm with KSA Engineers. I'm based in McKinney, Texas. Yeah, we've been working for the city for quite a while on some of these issues. The city broke what is called the 75-90 rule. That's a TCEQ rule, that if you exceed 70% going to your treatment plant, you have to begin the process of starting engineering work and financial planning to get your money in place. Once you break 90% going to your treatment plant, you have to begin construction. The city of Honey Grove has broken the 75%, and in fact, in a 3-month period, they've broken the 90%. So something, it's reads must be done. So it's not a if you want to, or when you have time, or when you have money. You have to begin the process. Otherwise, you risk fines. Right now, the city of Honey Grove water loss is at 55%. I don't know of another city that we're working with that's that high. That's a tremendous water loss, which goes along with what the mayor's saying about how bad some of these lines are. They're leaking, they're old, they're underground, they're rusting, they're clay tile. There's just all kinds of issues. Mr. Massey has run cameras through some of the sewer lines. They're collapsed. And y'all, the danger of that is when they collapse like that and you get a big rain, excuse me, but that poop's got to go somewhere, and it's going to back up in people's houses. And you do not want that, because then it's been in your house, and you got to sell that house, you've got to divulge that now with your realtor. It's a mess. So we don't want to go down that road. We had to turn down a development. A guy came in and wanted to build 200 new homes in Honey Grove over by, I'm going to mess this up, Mary. Is it the Green Onion? Is that Red Onion? I was close. I got part of it. And we had to turn it down because we couldn't stand the additional capacity of 200 homes. We already have a lift station that during a heavy rain, Mr. Massey has to work with it. When it's not raining, it's fine. But when you get a rain, all that water is infiltrating through those pipes and coming in. So that's an issue. We had to turn those houses down. We would have liked to have accepted those new homes, because new homes and things like that is going to bring in restaurants, grocery stores. Those amenities will follow after the homes come in. So the council instructed us, and we had a team together of your financial planner who's here, your bond attorney, and your engineer, and we started trying to find money to do some of these repairs. We came up with the best solution was to go to the Texas Water Development Board and put in an application. We did that. It's been a 2-year process to get to where we're at right now. Their board finally approved Honeygrove to get $16.8 million. That's broken down to $10 million of that $16.8 million is grant money. It's gifted, it's given to the city. $1 million is at 0% interest. The other $5.8 million is at a discounted rate. Now, that's about as good a deal as you can get. There was only 5 cities in the entire state that got that grant money. Honeygrove wasn't originally on it. We were ranked number 8 in the state. 2 people were not disadvantaged, so they didn't get any grant money. One, as the mayor said, dropped out. We got the call and said, hey, there's $10 million here. Would you like it? Would we like it? Yeah. I mean, we're only talking about with this project fixing maybe 20% of the lines and building you a new wastewater treatment plant. So there's still, this is going to be an ongoing process for the next 30 or 40 years to get things up to speed. But it'll go a long way in accomplishing that. So, the council, they did a rate study. We don't do rate studies. They had a group that did that for them. And they looked through all the options and tried to come up with the best option, knowing that there are no free wastewater treatment plants. There's no free pipe. It's going to cost. It's going to raise rates. It'd be great if we had another 500 families to help pay that cost, because that would reduce all of your costs. So we'd like to be able to say yes to some of those developments, get more people in, paying taxes, paying utility bills, to help pay this down. That's would be a positive. If we decline this money, if for some reason we decide, and I don't think the council wants to do that, but they're trying to help you out and figure out a way to make all this work. But if we decline it, there's still costs that are going to incur to the bond council, the financial people, and us, and you won't have the grant to pay that off. That'll come out of the budget. We went through this same process, and I know I'm taking more than 3 minutes here, but I'm trying to give you all, I wish we'd have had this crowd at the town hall meeting that we had months and months ago to tell everybody about this. But there's a little city called Lindsay, right over by Gainesville. Just go down 82, you get to Gainesville. It's right on the other side of 35. Their population is 1,250. Their treatment plant is in as bad a shape as yours. We've talked about it for years and years and years. We don't have the money. We can't spend that much money. We can't fix that. Well, you need to do something. The TCEQ is going to, and I brought the copy of the letter in case you want it. They got their letter. They're getting fined $110,000. That has to come out of the budget. They're not allowed to use grant money for that. That's got to come out of their general budget. So they're smaller than you are, and they were fined $110,000. They have to pay that off. They won't back off. TCEQ is kind of like the IRS. Once they make a judgment, that's it. The only thing that they can do is try to see if they can make payments on it instead of coming in one lump sum. Because a town of 1,250 people, you think how many head of household, not very many to pay that off. So they're serious when they do those fines. The other thing that's going to happen is construction costs are going to continue to go up. If we wait 3 more years to do something, as you've seen at the grocery store and doing repair, things just keep going up. And so the construction costs will be more than what it is to do now. At TCEQ, after they fine you still have to do the repairs. And we can go back to the water board, but once we turn this down, I don't think that they're going to be, they got a lot of cities that would love to have this $10 million that they'd like to help out. So I know you don't feel like you're fortunate because some bills have gone way up, and that hurts. We gave to Jamie and the mayor a deal that if you're making money under a certain threshold, you can get $2,300 a year to pay your utility bill. That's almost $200 a month. And it changes depending upon what's your income. Now, if you're making good money, then you're not going to qualify. But I've given that to them to where they can look into that for you. Some people may qualify, some may not. I don't know anybody's status on that. But I don't know anything about the rates, so I'm going to sit back down and let y'all talk and everything. But I wanted to just kind of give you an overview of, you're very fortunate that you're getting this much money, even though it is painful to pay these bills. But with the amount of water loss that we're seeing, some of this has got to be leaks on your side too. You've got to have some places that it's maybe underground where you don't even know it. But there's got to be some leaks that is causing some of the numbers I'm hearing for these rates and these costs have got to be out of line. Either somebody's got a new swimming pool and they're filling it up, or they're watering their yard every day, or there's leaks or something in order to have the rates that I heard that are being expressed. But thank you for your time, Mayor. I'll answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sriva, are you speaking? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, that brings us to Deanne Carson. Deanne is from Government Capital Securities, which is the organization with whom we're working for the loan portion, and she's going to talk with us and then connect us with a person who knows about the rate studies, correct?
Yes, I'm Deanne Carson, Government Capital Securities, and we are the city's financial advisor.
Yeah.
No, it's
Can
loud
you
and no.
pull it closer?
We are the city's financial advisor, and it is an honor to be y'all's financial advisor. And to get a grant from the Water Development Board, I mean, a $10 million grant, and then the low interest loan, and then part of it being no interest is just, I mean, y'all are blessed to get this, and we're so excited to talk about this. There's so few cities. There are 300 cities that were in the running for this money, and only 5 got it. So y'all are very lucky. But the Water Development Board they're very strict in the way they do things. We had to submit a budget, we had to submit all the paperwork, and they accepted it. They ran all their credit, they did all their analysis, and they approved it. Now, if we go in and say, well, we want to change something, we want to change, they looked at your new rates, they thought that would be fine, until we cover your debt service. That's what the main thing wants, make sure you cover your debt service. If we change the rates, they will probably just throw the whole thing out, and you'll lose all the money. They'll give the money to somebody else. And I hate, and as your financial advisor, I cannot stand for that to happen. That would just kill me for y'all to not get that money. And I know it's hard getting your rates raised. I live in Arlington, and my rates are real high too. And I know it's a struggle for people, and particularly people, older people, or people that don't have a lot of income. It's rough. But with, if we get this project done, homes can come in, and the more rooftops there are, the more people that are paying into the system. And I think it's the future of the city for this water plant to come in. I think, it is also a safety. Nobody wants sewer problems in their house. And I've got Rudy Segura is our bond counsel, and he's standing by if I needed him. And he's the one that can back up the fact that Water Development Board, if we change anything, we'll say no. We approved it this way, and you can't change anything.
All right.
Thank you.
I believe that's all that we have in terms of folks who have requested speaking. So at this time, we will move to the agenda item. The item to discuss and or act on is to review the water sewer rate ordinance. And you have in your packet, you have the ordinance for Honey Grove, I believe, and the rates that are proposed that we have basically approved at this point, which lays out the sewer rate and the water rates and that sort of thing. At this point, we're open for discussion. Council.
I guess I'll start us off. I wish we could have started off the meeting in another line where you knew where council was at, but they got realigned and we weren't able to really talk. And I'm sorry for that, because I think a lot of emotions can get worked up in what's council thinking, and that should not be the case when we come up here. Feelings should be legitimate and not manipulated in a way that is trying to go a certain way. But I wrote, this has been a hard decision. This is a decision that I can tell you nobody up here has taken lightly and has thought long and hard about this. So I got this wrote down that I'm going to read off of, because I don't want the emotions to get to me, because I am a little frustrated right now that it was presented in a way that people don't necessarily understand where council is at and what the intentions were. It wanted to be lined up a different way, and I'm sorry for that, but I wish I could fix that, but that's not anything I can do. So what we have here is 37 families had sewer bills over $100. The highest billing for just sewer was in the 600s. These increases led to total bills from $200 to $1,000. For the majority, the rates were reasonable, but I feel that action needs to be taken to remedy the unexpected difficulties faced by these families who had no idea how significantly the new rates were going to impact them. Not wanting to charge the rates, but I do feel some actions are necessary. I don't feel like we're going to need to change the rates, but I do feel like we need to kind of look at something, either a policy or we need to look at something. I've been analyzing and laying out the options since the day the water bills went out, and like I said, I don't take this lightly at all. My first option that I was looking at was, what if we put a $100 cap on the sewer and retroactive to include the bills that were due by November 10th, and that would help those that were the hardest. It would still allow for people to water their lawns and water their livestock. It would also keep future water leaks from being as much of a blow to household finances, because if you have a water leak, it's a big deal now. Another option that I was looking at, and that's why I was really wishing council could talk about this before, because it didn't necessarily happen to be, oh, we're turning down this $10 million. I have no intentions of wanting to turn that down, but I'm not going to also allow somebody to hold something over my head and say, you gotta do it this way. I want to try to do the best that we can for our citizens, and also keeping true to making sure that our city does grow and does the best as possible. So option 2 that I was looking at was putting a temporary cap for the prior months and this month to allow those affected to fix the existing leaks and take action to conserve water, so that when the following months arrive, their bill will be more reasonable. Also put in place a water bill leak adjustment policy that will allow citizens to request an adjustment once or twice a year for leaks that drive their bills up if they show it has been repaired. The only problem is that this still doesn't help those who want to water their lawns, plants, or livestock, or filling their swimming pools. I really feel like if we can put a policy in place, because I'm saying if you have a water leak now, it is a big deal, and I do not believe that our city should be making payment plans with people and saying, hey, we can pay this out, because I'm telling you, with the water bills the way they are, if you couldn't afford it the previous month, you're not going to be able to afford it the next month, and that's really disheartening. But our situation that we are facing with our sewer and water lines is extremely bad. We have to do something, and I think it was extremely sad that it was portrayed in a way that, oh, we're going to throw away this $10 million. No, this council, I feel like, is believing is trying to do everything that we can to help our citizens, but in also not going to allow taking this money to just control you, because there's always strings attached. And yes, I do believe, yes, we agree to this, but I want to make sure that maybe we can put policies in place to say, hey, if you have a water leak and it is abnormally high, yes, there's got to be something wrong, or hey, you're watering your lawn, but you're having to pay all this. Like, we have options. Like, I learned that you can actually get a tap, that if you're watering your lawn, that there could be a tap that goes to that you have to pay $1,000 for. But then you are not charged for that for sewer, which makes a huge difference when you see what the sewer rates are long term. It sounds like a lot up front, and it is a lot up front, but it does help overall in the long term. So really, that's what I see that would be beneficial if we were to, hey, say, for the previous month and this month, people got that sticker shock. It was a lot higher than what I anticipated. And I apologize for that. I wish I would have thought and said, hey, could you show me the last month and forecast this over? I didn't do that. That's my bad. I wish I would have. But I also think we need to do something to help our citizens that work it really hard. I think if it was over that $100, that we go ahead and say, hey, let's do what we can to reimburse you for that, and what that was, which will turn out to be about $4,000. And for the next month, let's do another trial run, and whatever that runs over, then we help out there. But then after that, people are saying, okay, here's where I need to make the adjustments. Here is where I have the water leaks. That's kind of where I stand on.
Ms. Macy?
Okay, so coming from a single income household, like I totally get everybody's concerned with the water bills. We tried extremely hard to figure out how we were going to do this, how we were going to make it affordable for everyone, but there's just no possible way. We have talked about possibly applying for grants that were for low-income families, so that is something we're going to gather information on and see if we can help those of you that cannot afford it. I have reached out to a couple of people, those that were shocked with $300 to $1,000 bills, and I did explain to you the option of getting the separate meter as far as watering your livestock and all of those things. So I just really think that you guys need to know that, because I wasn't even aware that you could have a separate meter. So that is another option for you guys. Other than that, I mean, we went back and forth for so long on how can we help these people. We have people that are older that aren't able to work, that need help with their fixed income. So just bear with us. We're doing everything that we can, and I guess that's it.
Ms. Lane? Nothing. This decision was probably one of the hardest decisions that this council has had to wrestle with, is trying to figure out how we could go about addressing the problem that we know we have. And we all know that, at least I think all of us know, that Honey Grove has 80, 90-year-old clay sewer lines in a large part of the city. And those are, of course, beginning to break down. And when they do, the potential then is for the sewer to back up into homes. Within the last 2 or 3 years, we've been fortunate in that we've not had a lot of that. We have had one family here, and some of you probably, I'm not going to tell you who, but somebody down on Oak Street, the sewer line collapsed across from the cemetery, and everything in that part of town flowed down to that family's home. In fact, it flooded their home up to the baseboards in every room. It went under the walls. It came out of their commodes about 2 feet high. It came out of any opening that that there was in their house, and it was flowing out their front door and out their back door. And some of us were there with push brooms to help try to clean it out. Now that's a worst case scenario, but for that family, it was about a year of their having to move out of their home and have their insurance. They happened to have insurance, and their insurance representative was there that evening, and they came and got it cleaned out and set the fans on. So we have some real issues with that. A few years ago, Honey Grove was fortunate enough to get some grant money to work on our roads. And most of you know that Honey Grove is like most small municipalities. We have potholes. And that's not, I'm basically probably understating that. Our guys work on them as often as they could. But a few years ago, we had the opportunity to receive some grant money. And the grant had attachments to it, which generally there are when you get money, funding. And so the conditions were that we had to go interview folks in various parts of town. We had to find places where there were a number of people living on the street and whose homes were there. And we had to go interview people on those streets. We ended up repairing some streets. Well, nearly every one of those streets has had sewer line collapse under it, which means that the work that was done had to be, in many cases, dug up, the sewer line replaced, worked on. 9th Street over here ended up, it collapsed in Market Street. When the guys tried to tie into the clay pot, it continued to break. And so the city decided the best thing to do was replace the line from Market to Commerce, which meant the street had to be dug up and then the street replaced at that time. So there's a lot of implications, and there's a lot of, in terms of long term, I can tell you, I know that it is not pleasant to have any additional cost placed on individuals, and I know that. I know that we talked about this council talked about the needs of individuals and the fact that we have a lot of people who manage from month to month and that it's a real struggle. And so in terms of all of that, it became necessary. We had to think about, well, okay, long term, what does that mean if those folks, if their sewer backs up and if they don't have insurance, then they've got a major problem. And so we know that there's some issues that we're going to have to face. We also know that we're facing problems with the state if we continue and not address our wastewater treatment plant and deal with those kinds of issues as well. So we've got some challenges here, and so I think the council, in struggling with this, the chart that Sarah gave you basically shows what the council intended, which was that those folks, most of the folks, their rates would not change much. That the higher end cost would be the ones who would pay more to do that.
I don't believe that chart is correct.
Beg pardon?
I don't believe that chart is correct.
You don't remember that?
I don't believe that it is correct.
She says the chart's not right.
Oh, the chart's not right?
I don't think so, because it says that only 1% of the bills are over $800. I feel like that is based off of that 110-page report that includes accounts that have been closed. So I think that that's been skewed overall.
Okay.
And I have a question.
Okay, probably Sarah should answer that.
Well, no.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe Sarah.
Okay.
I need to know how these water bills are figured, because I just did a spot check on several different accounts, and so many people used a lot less than they had the prior month. So how is it figured? Like on the sewer, it's $45,000 for the first 1,999 gallons. $45. Sorry. So then the next 1,000 gallons on the sewer. No, it's $4 for every, from 2,000 to 4,999. Like, maybe it doesn't make sense because the math doesn't match.
So from the 2,000 to the 4,999, every 1,000 gallons would be $4.
So they're paying that $45 base, whether they use $19.99 or they use 200 gallons.
Correct.
They're paying the $45. The math still doesn't match though.
So then after, if they, or it's 0.004, 0.004 per gallon. All we can do is when we inputted the information into the system, we called RVS and asked them to do it. Then they double checked us and said these rates are correct. All we can go do is go back to RVS and says double check them again. But we went through RVS because we wanted to get it right and not get it wrong.
So if someone uses, say, 9,999 gallons, are they going to be charged $4 per 1,000 gallons for the entire thing, or does it go up in tiers?
It goes up in tiers. So after 4,999 gallons, you go up to $8. After 9,999 gallons, you go up to $14. And then after that, 29,999, you go up to $16.25. So you hit each tier if you go up to 50,000 gallons or more. That's why that's called the inclining block rate.
Are we able to have them check that again?
We can call RVS and ask them.
Question.
I have an answer for you.
Awesome.
Your statements, I just talked to Deanna.
Yes.
She called Rudy. You do have some grace. We haven't gotten the bonds sold yet. So for that, like you were saying, from last month or this month, you could do some adjustments.
Okay.
So you do have till December before the hard deadline's gonna kick in. So people can try to fix the leaks and do whatever, and see if you can kind of work with them with the old rates, whatever you want to do.
So like if the city was to put together a policy that wouldn't really affect the grant.
She's called Rudy. Rudy
Okay.
said, I guess it's other bonds.
Well, yeah, because here we have to, he said about Christmas, because we have to have a meeting, resolution, and then we have to 45 days, and there's a hard close date for water, which is at the latest April 30th, and we've got 45 days in there, so we would have to have a meeting probably early January.
Okay.
So we put it all, you know, we put that on, they're gonna be buckets when you do this on the
Okay.
So that would also give those of you that need to water livestock or gardening or greenhouses or whatever it is that you need to water that doesn't require sewer, that would give you time to get that additional meter for $1,000 that would help with your water usage by the time the bills turn around in December.
Thank you. All right. Can I make a motion?